Hello everyone, I am Lo from Excel Software. Today, I want to share with you a new feature of AutoCount, a new feature called Approval Workflow. So this approval workflow is used for some approval functions. For example, invoices, payment vouchers, receipt vouchers. You can use this approval function. So you can assign your employees to, so you only need to be responsible for checking, and then you approve. And only after approval will it post to our account. It's not just for accounts. All the functions are already prepared. And this approval function is free. It's free for version 2.2 users. Some customers ask, what is 2.2? Why is there 2.0, 2.1, 2.2? These three series are all for the under 2.0 series. The 2.0 series is free. It's a free upgrade. Whether you are 2.0 or 2.1, you can upgrade to 2.2 for free. So why do we call it 2.2? It's because this 2.2 series mainly targets some e-invoicing features. So AutoCount considered for a long time this approval flow can help with e-invoicing. Because for e-invoicing all your documents, the sales documents including credit notes, debit notes, refund notes, these documents need to be submitted to LHDN. So in this situation, it's best to check once before we submit to LHDN. However, AutoCount designs their program with a focus on perfection. So it's not just designed for these sales documents. It can also be used for payment vouchers, receipt vouchers, and all other functions that have this approval feature installed. You can choose whether to use it or not. I will explain in detail later. This is only for customers of the 2.0 series. If you are still using version 1.9 or 1.8, it is recommended that you upgrade your version to 2.0 as soon as possible. Without further ado, I will show everyone how this approval workflow operates. Alright, for example, let's go in and explain how the AutoCount Approval Workflow system operates. Let me first explain a bit. Actually, there are two methods. The first method is based on your user. There are two types of users. The first user is the requester, and the other user is the approver. The requester can only enter the document, and then it is awaiting approval. So they can only enter it, save as draft. If saving as draft is fine and everything checks out, he can directly request for approval. Request for approval is what we call awaiting approval. This is the first type of user. The second type of user is called the approver. The approver is responsible only for approving, and if they do not approve, they can choose to reject. If rejected, it goes back to draft, and the requester can continue to modify it, then send it to awaiting approval. This is the entire flow. But sometimes the approver's company may not have enough personnel to handle every function. The approver can also save as draft, check it first, and only approve if there are no issues. So the approver can save as draft themselves, which means the approver doesn't need 3 steps, like saving as draft, then awaiting approval, and then approving. This way, the approver has a lot of work. So we thought of these two options. In this way, if customers do not want to use the approve function, they can also choose. Let's say after you practice, you want to use the approve function, cash payment voucher. If you don't want to use the approve function, you can also choose it. Wait for me to show everyone the system. I will explain to everyone step by step how the whole system operates. Coming to AutoCount, so 2.2, after you log in to 2.2, you go to choose option. Here, there will be an additional feature called approval workflow. With the approval workflow feature, you can choose which one you want to approve. You want to set this approver to which function. You can set it to choose which function. Then here, if the requester is awaiting approval for more than 10 days, if it exceeds 10 days and the approver still hasn't approved, then it will go to the expired section. So this is how it works. That its setting, its operation is done like this. Then if there are no issues after you check, you just save it. So the first thing is to set different users. Right here in access right maintenance, you can search for approve. So this approve, so there's nothing. So search, okay, search disapprove. After searching disapprove, you will see which functions, which users can approve or which users can approve. So I'll do an example here. Over there, I'll do an invoice. Invoice only admins, okay, means approved. So I sign up another user called Law. So now we log in with Law's ID to see how Law operates the entire function. The first user is Law. You see it's a invoice. Okay, new, you see below it is draft preview or submit for approval. So but if you go to this admin user, the admin user goes to the sales invoice, you will see it is below is draft and approved. Oh, directly approved. These are two different access rights. So I will first do the one for Law. This is Law's user. Let's say I created a customer. So I will send for approval. afterward. I'll log out first to confirm whether that user is correct or not. So confirmed is the user law. I'll go back in here. You see there's a draft. You can, based on the draft here, if there's anything you want to change, you just directly edit. Okay, directly edit. Once confirmed, there's no problem. You just directly submit for approval. Then submit for approval. So if there are no issues, edit, then submit for approval. So there will be one less draft here and it will move to here, 1500. So awaiting approval, you see it cannot be approved. So log out from this slow user. I go into this admin user. So you see admin user. Okay, this is admin user. You look at the sales invoice here. It's awaiting approval here. You see it has this approve function. You can selectively approve just that sales invoice. You can double check if there are no issues. You can approve it above. Or if you want to approve 3 at once, you can also use the small button above to approve 3 at the same time. 2 options. After you approve, I just approve 1. I double click approve or reject. There was a reject option earlier. So after approving, you will see 1 less and it will move here to the approved document. How about this admin user, Moko? The admin user only has drafts and it doesn't have the awaiting approval or send submit for approval function. So in this situation, there are only 2 ways to do it. So either he keys in the document, okay, then he saves it as a draft, or he can still edit it in the draft, and after editing, he submits it. So in the draft here, we will not affect the account. It will not post to the account. If you go to profit and loss, you will not see this document of $1,000. It has not been posted. In the end, it will not be posted until we approve it. If there are no issues, you just directly approve. After you approve it, you will go back to look at the profit and loss. It will automatically post to the account. So below here, $1,000, it will automatically post to the account. This is the entire operation. So I'll explain it once more. So for the requester, on their side, it is a draft and they can submit for approval. Then the approval user can reject or approve. So if a document is cancelled, it will fall under this void. This expire is what you set. Maybe set for 10 days, and if it is not approved after 10 days, it will fall into this expired section. These more urgent documents will fall into here. So that's the whole concept. This aligns with the e-invoice method. You see, this approval is not just it's everywhere. You can also open it. You can open it like with the e-invoicing method. It can be directly approved and then submitted for that e-invoice submission. So to enable the e-invoice, you need to go to the tools option under country and tax, then fill in when you start your e-invoice. For those companies that haven't started e-invoicing and want to test the e-invoicing function, you can request from your dealer. Okay, switch to that stacking server. When you switch to the stacking server, you can test how the entire AutoCount e-invoicing function operates, including how it processes through this invoice. When you link to the invoice, you will see the status appear. So we can press, let's do another sample. Let's say we create a new sample. Now it's the approval user. He just created a new one related to e-invoicing. It just approves. But there are some settings done. Over there, it requires that the tax info must be entered. So these users, if they haven't entered the tax info, they cannot submit. Additionally, you need to set up the company profile. So you also need to set up your company's TIN number. Once it's set up, then it can approve the invoice through the system. So let's go back and try again, or approve it once more. I select a user who has a TIN number or AutoCount. There's nothing here. Try and see. That user is called AutoCount. So during testing, this AutoCount already has its tax info. I save this user into AutoCount. What I'm explaining to everyone is this approval workflow feature, which can actually work together with e-invoicing. It means that once the user approves it, it will directly send to L7 over there to get validation to see whether this invoice is valid or not valid. So before you approve, you can still make changes. But once we send submit for approval, it will basically link to L7 and L7 will return a URL to us. So in this situation, you can use this if you want to enable the e-invoicing feature. you can check here, then set the date when your company's e-invoice will actually start. If you want to test, you can also test intention, but you must make sure your version is linked, open an empty data, ask your dealer, and then link to this AIP stacking. This AIP stacking will link to the L7 sandbox. The sandbox is for those tax users to test. It will then send to the ER sandbox for testing purposes. Then it's already done. In this situation, then you save. After saving, make sure you log out or call the entire program. After setting it up, you will see this status, and there will be some failed statuses and valid statuses here. Alright, so let's do some testing. So randomly open a document, then enter that information and input some amounts, then directly approve. This is because it doesn't have tax info, so without tax info and the TIN number, it will directly fall under consolidated. For consolidated, these can be at the end of the month, okay? From which date to which date's invoice, you can consolidate them all at once here. 1500, so it's that one from earlier, 0025. So you can submit for consolidated, and here you will receive a consolidated invoice number. But for those with tax information, it will validate once, like this one with the auto-counted tax TIN number. You refresh and it will check whether it is filled. Maybe it needs to check. You might have 55 fields and only one field is not filled correctly. Even if the TIN number is filled correctly, there might still be some fields that are not filled correctly or are filled incorrectly. In this situation, it will return as an error. Our approval flow is actually that simple. Thank you everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I am Mr. Low, 0149 672631. Okay, thank you everyone.